before I start changing the actual drive shaft, I thought I would show you the difference between the old one and the new one. So the new one is from J&R CV Joints. I think it's an English company, and the new drive shaft cost me £50, which is a really good price, I think. And I think the design of it is actually a lot better than the original one. I mean, it's definitely improved, and I want to show you how that is. So on the old drive shaft, as you can see, where they usually fail is here. Not the actual drive shaft, but the boot, that where it usually fails is here. And if you think about it, I mean, taking the CV joint apart just to change the boot is so much work, and the boot itself is about £10 or something. So you have to pay £20 to change both boots and spend loads of hours. It might be worth just changing the drive shaft itself. So the main difference is that this is the end that goes onto the gearbox, and this end goes onto the hub. As you can see, the teeth are a bit worn as well. So the new drive shaft comes with a nice and shiny ABS ring. So that's the end that goes onto the hub. So there are two things I'll be doing before I actually put the new drive shaft on. As you can see, the teeth here are nice and sharp compared to the other one, the old one, and it comes with a bolt as well, so that's good. Now the main difference is that the end that goes onto the gearbox is sealed, so it doesn't end up looking like this. It protects all the dust, sort of prevents all the dust from getting in, and the bolts just go straight through it. So it's nice and sealed, secure. So I think that's a far better design. And also, where the boot failed on the old one, here it's a bit stronger, so it shouldn't fail as fast. This here is raw iron, which I don't think is as, because on the previous one, I don't know if they galvanized it or something, but it certainly didn't rust as fast. And I've already replaced one of my drive shafts with this one, and this part just went rusty within a few days of use. So what I'll be doing now is painting this black and covering this with like a rubber treatment so it lasts a bit longer. And after that, we're ready to go. Okay, so here's the wheel. I'm really sorry about what the wheel looks like. I haven't washed it in a while. So just before we jack the van up, it's a good idea to loosen this bolt as well as the wheel bolts as well while the traction's on the wheel. So this one is 27mm and the wheel bolts are usually 19. So it's a 90mm bolt, but you need a deep socket because, sorry, the nut is 90mm, but the bolt is quite long, so that's why you'll need a deep socket. And once you undo the bolt, you'll have to tap. Sorry, once you undo the nut, you have to tap the bolt from the bottom. It kind of pops out. So let me show you guys in close up. It's a tapered bolt, and I was trying to tap it from the bottom with a hammer, but it was just really stubborn. So what I did was I used my hydraulic jack here, and I've put it on the bottom of the bolt, and and jacked it up so that there's a lot of pressure on the bolt from the bottom, and then I smacked this part with a hammer, and I spread it with some more WD-40, jacked it up a little bit more, kept smacking it with a hammer, and it just popped off. So what I can do now is just put that aside, and I'm able to move the hub freely, and get more access to where I need to remove the drive shaft. What we'll be doing is removing the shock, so that the shock can let go of the bottom torsion bar and we can sort of bend it backwards. The bottom torsion bar is only held with the anti-roll bar link part, and then the shock itself. So if I remove the shock here, it will be still fixed on the top here, so I'll have to remove the top here. There are two bolts holding it. They're 18mm. There's one here, one at the back here. There are two small screws holding it in place. One was here, one was here. So I just removed those. I'm going to get this out of the way. Now that's out the way, so we can get access to the bolt that's here, so that we can take the shock off. So we've undone the shock, so it's free to move now. I'm just going to move this out the way, and I'm going to undo the bolt here so I can take the shock off. Okay, so now we're going to remove the stabilizer or the anti-roll bar linkage out. So we've taken off the shock, which means the bolt that goes through this torsion bar is free, loose, so we can take it off. Just be careful when you do this. You don't want to have too much pressure on the bolt, because otherwise you'll strip the thread on it. Okay, so next thing we'll be doing is removing the fixing of the bottom ball joint onto the hub. It's fixed by two bolts. One is here and one is on the other side, and they are M14, which looks like this. It's an M14 socket that fits onto them like so. So we're under the van here, and this here is the torsion bar for the side where we're replacing the drive shaft. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's all the way at the bottom here, so that it goes up, so that the torsion bar goes up as much as possible, and we have as much room as we can for the taking the drive shaft off. Okay, next thing we'll do now is we'll loosen the axle. Okay, so to loosen the bolts that hold the drive shaft onto the gearbox, you'll need an M12 socket that looks like this. However, you can also get away with a T55 The pattern is a bit different, but the T55 fits it as well. But you really want to be using the M12 if you can. There's 6 of those bolts, and if you don't have anyone to step on the brakes for you, you'll have to put the car in the gear, and that way when you undoing the bolts it won't twist on you. The good thing about the drive shaft on T4 is that when you take it off, you don't have access to the gearbox, so no oil will come out, nothing, which is really good. Okay, so we've got enough play to give us to be able to remove the drive shaft. So I'll take this bolt off. As you can see, this is the reason why I had to replace it, because all the grime that gets into the CV boot is very bad for it. And also, I'll show you this. As I was saying, the advantage of the new drive shaft is that it's sealed. So the old one, if you look, all the grime is in there, and that's meant to be clean and dry. So what happened with the sealed one? Now I'm going to put it now.